Well, guys, there is not much to say. Mexico lost on Sunday. They lost against England and they got eliminated from the World Cup. And that was so sad and so devastating to see. And there was a lot of speculation as to who had the advantage and who was going to win. And they were saying that the English team was at disadvantage because the Estadio Azteca is so high up in altitude, so above sea level, and the English team is only used to playing at sea level. And so they were saying that that was going to be originally one of the reasons why Mexico would win. And there was a lot about how Mexico doesn't usually lose in the Aztec, had never lost in a World Cup in the Aztec, a World Cup match in the Aztec, but they lost. And the important thing is to be graceful in defeat and admit, that the game ended 3-2 in favor of England. And at the end, they were the ones that were able to score the most, and we lost. And that was so sad. But what has been nice to see is that we have been graceful in defeat towards the English, towards not being crazy like some other teams have been crazy recently, but also with ourselves. We have been very graceful in defeat with ourselves as a country and with the team, because usually what happens, because this has happened multiple times for us. And usually, what happens when we lose and get eliminated from the World Cup is there is a lot of blaming. We blame the players, we blame the coach, we blame ourselves, we blame the country, we blame the government, we blame there's a sense of rupture between uh, us in our identity. And this time around it hasn't been like that. There has been even more unity, support for the players. We went through this World Cup with the phrase ECC, which means what if, and we dreamt very high of the what if. And I think what this World Cup left us is that realization that we can dream of the what if. And even if it doesn't happen, maybe even if it's what if not, we can still dream high and we can still fix whatever is broken within us and within our country. And I think that was what was beautiful, that this five games that the Mexican team played left for us, that sense of unity, that sense of being able to dream higher, of being able to dream of better things. I think that was something that needed to be revived. And it was beautiful. And there has been no hate given to the players. There has been a lot of like support for them, even though they lost. And I think that is also a beautiful thing that doesn't always happen. So I think that was a beautiful thing that the game left. Something else that was really sad was to see Guillermo Ochoa, Paco Memo, crying in the Aztec, because this was the last game of his whole career. This was his last time in the Aztec as a player. And seeing him cry and the way he was crying was so sad. And it was so sad for me because I remember 6 World Cups ago. I remember when Paco Memo played his first World Cup, and that was 20 years ago. And I think that is crazy to think about. It really did hit me that time does go by, that 20 years have gone by, and that we are getting old, and that we are just seeing players go through their careers. And so that was a realization that had me very sad. And it was also very sad to see him say goodbye to the Aztec, which has been his home, because he grew up in Club America, which plays as home in the state Estadio Azteca. So that was very sad to see. It was sad to see some other of the players that will be saying goodbye to the Mexican team, and just to see them crying, because they got eliminated. That was very sad. It would have been crazy if they would have won, if they would have moved on to the next phase. But it doesn't always happen like that. This game works like that. Everything gets decided in those 90 minutes, and there's nothing to do about it, you know. So that was Mexico in the World Cup. Now things have kind of gone back to normal, especially because that was also the very last game that was going to be played in Mexico as a whole. Now every the last few games will get played here in the US, and we have to see what happens, you know. The game keeps going, you know, and yesterday Spain eliminated Portugal, and that was also very sad for anyone who loves Cristiano Ronaldo. He got eliminated from the World Cup, and this was his last World Cup, and he didn't win one of them. So that was very sad. He's doing fine though. I'm sure he's doing fine, but you know, but it was sad that he wasn't able to win anything for his country, and that was sad. And now Spain keeps moving on. They say that Spain is one of the favorites to win, so maybe this will be their year. But something else that happened and that has been developing since yesterday till today is that Kylian Mbappe, the French player, got a very racist message from a senator from Paraguay, because France eliminated Paraguay over the weekend as well, and it was kind of crazy what she wrote. I will say none of what she said, because those words don't deserve to be said out loud again and to keep like being saying said and said and said. So, but what she wrote was extremely disrespect, not only disrespectful, just so racist and so out of touch and so crazy. And so he responded in a very graceful way. He said that she is not worthy of the position that she has as senator, and that she dishonors such a great team as is the Paraguayan national team. And that is very graceful, because I don't think I would have said that, and I don't think a lot of people would have said that. She crossed many lines by what she said. So that is a news that keeps developing. I think that we're going to see more about that. Hopefully, we'll see an apology from her, even though it will probably not be said. It will probably not be an honest apology, but hopefully they will force her to apologize, because he deserves that apology. Um, Norway defeated Brazil and kicked them out as well. Brazil is the biggest winner of this competition, and since that story that I told you, since they harmed that cat in Qatar of 2022, and they like threw it off the table, they still haven't been able to win anything. They got eliminated this round, and that was crazy to see. But now more Norway keeps going on, and now a lot of people are giving their support to Norway because of their player Erling Haaland. That has been very funny to see. Um, the U.S. just got eliminated yesterday, Monday, against Belgium, and there was controversy about that because of a red card. And of course, Trump had to go put his hand on the whole thing, and they ended up getting eliminated. And I feel bad for Team USA, because I think they already came to the pitch to play feeling the heat of what had happened with Trump and with the whole thing, and they just didn't give their all, you know, and that's why they got eliminated. And now they're getting a lot of hate because of that. But I don't think, you know, I think the way that politics came into this was in a bad way, and it does show that politics does interfere a lot in this game in such a big tournament. And hopefully those guys can recover. But also, everyone is really happy that they got eliminated for that same reason. And while I am happy that the U.S. didn't get in and didn't get it their way, I feel bad for the players, because they deserve better, you know. They're at the end, they're just sports people, sports guys that are trying to, like, you know, make their career, and their president is getting on the way, and that sucks, you know. Argentina is still one of the favorites to win, and I think, and because of the way this has all been developing, I think the whole thing is set up so that the final match is once again Argentina and France. And then we will see who wins. But I think Argentina is set to go to the final. That is just how it was planned all along. But we will see. These are all speculation. Surprises can happen. There still has a couple more. rounds of eight have to happen, I think, today and tomorrow. And then on Thursday, the quarterfinals will begin, and then the semifinals, and then the finals. But that won't be the final, won't be until July 17th, I think, somewhere between July 15th and July 17th. So we will see what happens then. But for now, this has been all I have on the World Cup. That has been the update of this week. I will see you later. And now that Mexico has been eliminated from the World Cup, it is time to go back to normal. And that means, and if you excuse me, I will take care of it right now. The season begins in 2 weeks, and I am ready to see mi Club America, mis Águilas, win everything. As always, Club America, odiame más.